Okay, I believe that we are ready to go, and on behalf of SCPM, I'd like to invite you to the 2020 President's Awards ceremony. I'm the current president of SCPM, Mike Bloom, and I'll be going through our awardees and other details here for the ceremony. I'd like to thank everybody for attending and being interested enough to do this. It's a tough time to do these kind of things, but so far some of the things SCPM has done virtually have turned out quite well. So why don't we just go ahead and get started? And I'd like to first do a couple of acknowledgments. One would be the recent AAPG ACE meeting. There was a really successful SCPM presence there, and Ash Harris from Chevron deserves a lot of thanks from SCPM for his role as SCPM vice co-chair. James Bishop was the field trip chair, and the research symposium, which was very well received, Chiara Gomez. I don't want to go through the entire council, but I would like to just thank the council in general for all the work that they do, and for their assistance in always getting everything together. The SCPM staff is ever present and ever active and always eager to help out. Howard Harper, the SCPM executive director, deserves a special thanks, and Teresa Scott, the associate director, Cassie Turley, Michelle Tomlinson, and then the people that are associated with the journals, which would be Melissa Lester, Kathleen Huber, and then we have a new digital media consultant, Rebecca Gremla. Okay, so on to the President's Awards ceremony. I'd like to start with the 2020 Outstanding Papers Awards, and this is an award that has inherently been about an outstanding paper. It's not an outstanding paper for 2020. It could be, but we're giving the award in 2020 for an outstanding paper recognized as having been published in the Journal of Sedimentary Research. This year we have co-awardees, two papers, one from 2015, which is senior authored by Ramos Lazar, who I know quite well, and just a personal congratulations to Ramos and his colleagues. They wrote a paper called Capturing Key Attributes of Fine-Grained Sedimentary Rocks in Outcrops, Cores, and Thin Sections, Nomenclature and Description Guidelines. The other awardee is his paper in 2019, JSR, Erica Susari as the senior author, and the title is Stromatolite Provinces of Hamlin Pool, Physiographic Controls on Stromatolites and Associated Lithofacies. It's I just want to say a couple words about the process here for those of you who are tuned in but don't know about the process. We do and have in the past thinned out the nominees for Best Paper Awards or Outstanding Paper Awards by tabulation of their impact in the sciences and especially their citations and things like that. That plays a big role, and then the committee selects the final awardees. The 2020 Outstanding Paper for Pelaios. It's written by Rebecca Terry and colleagues, published in 2018. Title is Quantifying the Digestive Fingerprints of Predators on the Bone of Their Prey Using Scanning Electron Microscopy. There are some honorable mentions for this award, a paper by Caitlin Bobbitt in 2018, and another 2018 paper by Brent Gibson and colleagues. Both will get honorable mentions. So let's start with the formal awards for individual excellence. And I think the first award is the James Lee Wilson Award for Excellence in Sedimentary Geology Research by a Young Scientist. This award is going to be given to Lida Jing. He is Associate Professor and Doctoral Advisor from the School of Earth Sciences and Resources in China University of Geosciences in Beijing. He received his MS and PhD in paleontology from the University of Alberta. Dr. Jing has been recognized for his work by a large number of awards already at this time of his career, including the 16th Youth Geological Science and Technology Award in 2017, otherwise known as the Silver Hammer Award. And he also received China's Best Paper of the Year in 2016. I'd like to read the citation for his award. Lida Jing is one of the best young paleontologists and geologists in China. He is studying Mesozoic tetrapoda tracks in China by combining morphology, sedimentology, lithology, and photogrammetry, trying to enhance their global comparative value. Reconstruction of vertebrate inclusions in Cretaceous amber by synchrotron radiation, micro-CT scans, and XRF has broken new ground in studies of Cretaceous vertebrates in Southeast Asia. With continuous research and fruitful international cooperation, much more information can be expected from him in the coming decades. So we'd like to congratulate Dr. Lida Jing for this year's James Lee Wilson Award, Excellence in Sedimentary Geology Research by a Young Scientist. I'll move on to the next award. This is the William R. Dickinson Award. This is our newest award in the Society, created just three years ago or so. It's for excellence in sedimentary geology research by a mid-career scientist. And this year's awardee is Carmela Grazioni. Carmela received her MS and PhD degrees at the University of Arizona, where she would have certainly extensively interacted with Bill Dickinson, who the award is named after. And she definitely follows along in the intellectual lineage that Bill was part of as well. Dr. Grazioni is currently the Helen F. and Fred H. Gowan Professor at the Rochester Institute of Technology, as well as Associate Provost for Faculty Affairs. She is widely recognized for her research and has been awarded the Donath Medal in 2007 from the Geological Society of America, the Blavatnik Award for Young Scientists from the New York Academy of Sciences in 2009. So in other words, she's received 2 awards for early career scientists, and now she is getting the Dickinson Award for excellence by a mid-career scientist. Her citation was written by Pete DeSelles, and it reads, in recognition of Carmela Grazioni's pioneering work in developing stable isotope methods for determination of paleoelevation, her contributions to orogenic history and paleoclimate by leveraging the stratigraphic record, and her energetic leadership and service to the geosciences. I believe Carmela is here and has some comments to make.
Well, first I want to thank the Society for Sedimentary Geology for this honor. So Bill Dickinson's early work defining the physical processes that form sedimentary basins in different tectonic settings really changed the nature of sedimentary basin research, sparking interdisciplinary research that addresses fundamental questions about Earth systems interactions. Bill's approach to science inspired me and many, many others to use climate records and sedimentary basins to probe tectonic processes at depth. And it has fueled literally decades of research on the interactions between climate and tectonics. Bill Dickinson is one of my intellectual heroes, and so it is a true honor to receive this award in his name. My 11-year-old daughter, Alma, brought home a school assignment recently with a fill-in-the-blank statements in it. And one of the statements read, "The luckiest moment in my life was," and she filled in, "when I was born." Now, I don't think that I or anyone else can really top that as a lucky moment in life. We are all certainly lucky for that. But seriously, when I think about our careers and my career, I often think of how fortunate we are. How fortunate I am to have been able to do the research that I've done and to have worked with people who've supported me along the way. I was so lucky to have been at the University of Maryland during the early days of their geochemistry program. that fueled my interest in going to the University of Arizona to work with John Patchett for a master's, where I was introduced to tectonics and sedimentology and was able to work with Peter DeSalle and Jay Quaid and David Detman and many others. There was an amazing group of grad students at Arizona, and we each challenged each other to really think big and think outside of the box. And after moving to the University of Rochester, I realized how fortunate I was to be in a top-notch research university that supported research. The small department encouraged me to branch out to work with collaborators at other universities, and I was lucky to have been able to connect with a large number of interdisciplinary scientists on other big projects very early in my career. So that gave me the ability to kind of think beyond geoscience and pushed me to think about opportunities to connect geology with atmospheric science, biology, oceanography. And it's just been a really fun time doing interdisciplinary research. I'm also really grateful for excellent graduate students and postdocs who've been eager to learn new things. Their work and their ideas have really taught me so much more than I could have learned on my own. And in these most recent months, I just want to express gratitude to be working also with an outstanding leadership team at RIT and trying to navigate this new world of higher education during a global pandemic. I just want to conclude with how lucky I am and how lucky I feel we all are to have pursued, many of us, careers in academia that's afforded us so much opportunity to explore and discover. We're living in a time where we can reach remote, unexplored places to carry out field work. But at the same time, we're developing new technologies and methods that allow us to rapidly expand research opportunities and connect with different disciplines. It's just been an incredibly fun time to be a geoscientist. Lastly, I just want to thank my family too for being so supportive. Being a woman in a field-intensive discipline has definitely required sacrifices at home, and my husband, Doug, has been incredibly supportive in helping me pursue this career. Thank you all.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Kamala, and congratulations on behalf of SCPM. That was a very nice statement and much appreciated. All right, I'd like to move on to our next awardee, Dr. Norm Rosen. He is awarded honorary membership for contributions to the science and to SCPM. Norm received his PhD at LSU. In addition to his membership in SCPM, he has been a long-time Gulf of Mexico expert and a long-time member and leader of the Gulf Coast section of SCPM. And I might say, having served as president of the Gulf Coast section, that that section could not have survived the last decade or two without Norm's sustained leadership. While I was serving as president of the Gulf Coast section, his leadership was recognized by the GCS SCPM Council when they renamed their annual research conference the Perkins-Rosen Research Conference in his honor. The citation for this award was written by Paul Weimer, and it reads, "For his dedicated service and innovative leadership as the executive director of the Gulf Coast section, SCPM Foundation from 1999 to 2016, the SCPM is awarding honorary membership to Dr. Norman Rosen." And Norm is here with us today, as much as anyone is here with us. And, and I'm going to make him a presenter now, and he can read his statement. Norm.
Yeah, let's see if I can turn the camera on. Hey, it worked. Mike, thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. Also, I appreciate Paul Weimer's kind words, who once said he liked dealing with me because I was a bureaucracy of one. In any event, I must admit total surprise when I received the call that I was selected to be an honorary member of SCPM. My second feeling was pride in being recognized by my peers, many of whom were actually my betters, for the work I had done with the foundation. If you accept everything that Paul Weimer wrote, it sounds like I did it all by myself. I hate to disillusion everybody, but it isn't true. And in 5 minutes or less, or if this were the Oscars, 30 minutes, I need to thank the many people who helped me pull this off. My first thank you goes to Bob Perkins, a friend and mentor, who came up with the idea of having a research conference devoted to one subject and in an environment where the attendees and authors could freely mingle so as to fully exchange ideas. If he hadn't had this idea and the work ethic to pull it off, I wouldn't be here. My second thanks goes to Rochelle Rosen, who, without my knowledge, as usual, volunteered me to take over the position of executive director after Perkins' untimely death. Of course, if she hadn't done this, I wouldn't be here either. Ed Piku and Mike Nault, foundation trustees at that time, gave me their total support and have continued to do so. Mike has always been there in the background to make sure that he could do everything possible to see that the conference was a success. I don't really think many people are really aware of how hard he has worked on this. I always considered him an assistant executive director. Gail Bergen handled nearly everything regarding our first digital publication back in '99, allowing me time to figure out how the foundation actually ran. From day one, she was the one who made all our publications a work of art. I will always be grateful for her effort and friendship and editing advice. Yes, people, even I had an editor. The quality of our conference and papers has been widely recognized. Mike once told me that our conference was the closest thing SEPM had to a Hedberg conference. Howard, are you listening? This quality comes from the hard work of our technical chairman, who unwittingly volunteered to accept the position and then had to endure my constant harassment about A, we're running out of time, B, do we have enough papers, and C, when are they coming in, for God's sake? More than one told me that the job was about as much fun as herding cats, yet many of them did it more than once. People who volunteered on my watch include Bruce Hart, Chris Lowry, James Pindell, Kurt Marford, Tim Carr, Paul Weimer, Richard Fillon, Harry Roberts, and Leslie Wood. And special thanks go to hat trick veterans Paul Post and John Armentrout. If I forgot anyone, please forgive me. I've reached the stage where I'm having a lot of senior moments. To all the foundation trustees and section officers who supported my efforts, I thank you, thank you, thank you. Special mention must go to Jory Pack, who is always willing to tell me what I did wrong. Bob Perkins felt that a conference model such as ours was necessary. I agree with his thought, and I appreciate the efforts of Tony D'Agostino and John Suter, who took over after me to keep the torch burning. Some of our attendees and participants also felt the same way, and we actually spawned a child conference. I take pride of the efforts of Paul Post, Dave Brown, and Grant Walk for the Conjugate Margin Conference. I would be remiss if I did not mention the support of Howard Harper, Teresa Scott, Cassie, and the entire staff of SEPM for their logistical support of our efforts. Finally, to whoever nominated me and to all those who wrote letters of support, I truly appreciate what you did. I will add one last thank you, and that was to one of my co-advisors at LSU, a man by the name of Clarence Durham, who taught me what being an editor really means. My last comment is to the question, why did I do this? To paraphrase Paul Post, it needed to be done and someone had to do it. It was my way of giving something back to the field of geology. What I got out of it was the feeling of pride every time one of the proceedings came out, and the everlasting friendship of a lot of people I never would have met any other way. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, Norm, thank you very much. I can only testify to the truth that Norm just spoke and add that he's pretty humble about his contributions, and I can think of no one who has made a broader contribution to the science of the Gulf of Mexico by all the activities that he's undertaken over the years. So thank you very much. Okay, the next awardee is Dr. Miriam Katz from RPI. She is being awarded the Francis P. Shepard Medal for Sustained Excellence in Marine Geology. Dr. Katz is a professor in the Department of Earth and Environmental Sciences at RPI. She received her master's at the University of South Carolina and her PhD at Rutgers. Her research over the years has been recognized by a very long list of awards, including the W. Storrs Cole Memorial Research Award for Micropaleontology by GSA, the Ocean Leadership Distinguished Lecturer Award, honorary degree, Doctor of Science at St. Lawrence University, and the Doris M. Curtis Outstanding Woman in Science Award by GSA as well. I'd like to read the citation for Dr. Katz's award. She wasn't able to be here today. For the scientific rigor with which she has served the fields of micropaleontology, paleoceanography, deep time, global cyclicity from a microscopic to global scale. Her prolific research and significant community outreach are extensive and accessible, providing tremendous benefit to the scientific community and general public. Thank you to from your society for your excellence, and congratulations on receiving the Francis P. Shepard Medal for Sustained Excellence in Marine Geology. Let's move on to the R.C. Moore Medal for Sustained Excellence in Paleontology. This year's award goes to Mary Droser from University of California, Riverside. Mary received her master's from Binghamton University and her PhD from the University of Southern California. She served in a couple of positions, then ended up at professor at UC Riverside. She has a long and widely cited publication record, generally focusing on ichnology in the broadest sense, but covering a lot of ground that's made a broad range of contributions. I'd like to read the citation for Mary, and then she is here, and we'll say a few words after this. So the citation is, few have done as much fundamental research on early animal life during the Precambrian-Cambrian transition as has Mary Droser. This is coupled with a broad variety of very significant research on major events in life's history in the subsequent Phanerozoic. She has had an unusually large impact upon our profession, and we can expect that she will be a major contributor for many years to come. And so Mary is hopefully on standby, and I will switch to her.
Yes, there you go. Okay. Thanks, Mike. I feel very honored to receive the 2020 Moore Medal. I'm the luckiest person I know, along with Carmelo. Love my job and can't believe I get to make a living by being a paleontologist. And so what's made it so fun and rewarding are, of course, the people with whom I've worked and those who have supported me along the way. I'm here because of my students. I've had and have such an amazing group of students. They're much smarter than I am, and they keep me on my toes and enrich my life with humor and pop culture and great science. And I have to say that any success I've had as an advisor comes from the fact that Dave Botcher was my advisor. And he is and always has been such an incredible role model to me. I'm lucky to be at UC Riverside. I love UCR, I love our students, and I'm in a wonderful and stimulating environment with great colleagues. I've worked with a number of fantastic people over the years, among many, Richard Forty, Peter Sheehan, and of course, my longtime colleague, Jim Gehling. As some of you know, I've worked in Australia for the last 2 decades. Nilpena Station, now a national park, is an extremely significant fossil locality, and I'm privileged to be working there. What is equally amazing to the spectacular and unique Ediacara biota fossil record is the effort by the South Australians to conserve and preserve these fossils and make them accessible to the public. I'm grateful to the South Australian government, Premier Stephen Marshall, Minister David Spears, and project manager Jason Irving for recognizing the importance of the fossils and putting time, energy, and a great deal of money to secure the site as a new national park and World Heritage, and hopefully you'll all be able to visit soon. This government not only understands the importance of science, but celebrates it and invests in it, even if the fossils are over 500 million years old. Jane and Ross Farger and their boys, Lockie and Eddie, are our Australia family. And I've spent literally years now living on their cattle station. I have not been any help at all with the cows, but we've only accomplished what we have because of them, whether it's meals, bottles of wine, homemade craft brew, lots of laughs or help with a really heavy rock. They've facilitated field work from the beginning. Finally, I would like to thank my family. They are my village. My parents took me to a Lamont Doherty open house when I was 10, securing my interest in geology and paleontology. My mom has spent literally months in the field with me in the Western US and Australia from when my kids were in diapers. She's my most ardent supporter, and I wouldn't be here without her. Every one of my siblings and in-laws have been in the field with me, some for many trips. They've been lured into the romance of the Western US or Outback, only to find that it's not like Jurassic Park, but they nonetheless continue to come with me. My husband, Nigel Hughes, is a wonderful and supportive partner in crime, and he consistently makes me laugh. He keeps things in perspective and is a good sounding board, always with wise counsel. Finally, I'm grateful to our two kids, Emmy and Ian, who have spent much of their lives accompanying me in the field when Nigel is in Southeast Asia. Emmy at 3 weeks old, actually with Dave Botcher. Ian, who has spent every birthday in the Outback. They never complain and they work really hard. Our kids, who are now becoming scientists of their own, though not paleontologists, are just so much fun, and they make me so incredibly proud. They're my best experiment. So thanks again to SCPM for this wonderful honor.
I like to thank Mary for being here and taking part, and congratulations again. I'd like to go back. This is all kind of new to me, and I forgot to do a couple of things here, including read the acceptance comments from Mimi Katz, and I'd like to go back if everybody can allow me to do that. You sent them in, and I think it's we should read them. So let me just go ahead and do that. From Miriam, from Mimi, it is an honor to be the recipient of the 2020 Francis P. Shepard Medal for Marine Geology. I did what anyone would do upon receiving this exciting news. I went home and told my dad, Sam Katz, who is a retired RPI geophysics professor and therefore understands the significance of this award. My parents met at Columbia, where my father was a grad student of Maurice Ewing. My mother was Ewing's secretary until she insisted that her degrees in math and physics and experience as a radar specialist as a wave in World War II would be of better use in research than at the typewriter. I read the Shepard Medal award description to my father, followed by the list of past recipients. Being a geologist, I started at the bottom of the list, and I worked my way up to the most recent. One of the early awardees was Bruce Heason, who was at Lamont at the same time as my parents. In fact, it seems that my father is the last living original Lamonter. My jaw dropped as I continued reading the list, and I wondered, how is it that my name will be added to this list of luminaries? How indeed? As with so many of us, my parents and teachers sparked my interest in science and nature at an early age. I was fascinated by the fluorescent mineral exhibit at the RPI Geology Museum. My brothers and I used to stare at my father's seismograph drum outside of his office, waiting for an earthquake to happen. Mr. Moyer's 9th grade earth science field trips were educational, insanely fun, and just a bit dangerous. Then came college and graduate school with advisors who inspired and motivated me, Mark Erickson and Charlotte Mertens, St. Lawrence University, Bob Tunnell from University of South Carolina, and Ken Miller from Rutgers. Stimulating discussions with my peers were an invaluable facet of my student years. Retracing my parents' footsteps, I also worked at Lamont prior to eventually landing at RPI in my father's former department. Along the way, I participated in many IODP cruises, building a crucial network of colleagues without whom my research would have been impossible. My current career phase has allowed me to add a rewarding facet to my professional life, mentorship of undergrad and graduate students, along with community outreach. How did I arrive here? The recipient of the 2020 Shepard Medal. My parents, teachers, advisors, colleagues, students, and those who nominated me, a continuum of community brought me here. Today is a snapshot of my current place along this continuum, and I'm grateful to each person who has been part of the journey. So once again, congratulations to Mimi for an award. My apologies for not reading this at first, but what a very nice letter of acceptance. Okay, so I'm going to move on then to the Francis J. Pettyjohn Medal for Sustained Excellence in Sedimentology. This year's award goes to Gail Ashley, who is a professor emeritus at Rutgers. Gail received her master's degree from the University of Massachusetts and her PhD from the University of British Columbia. Gail has a long and distinguished record of research on fundamental sedimentary processes in cold climates, in lakes, and a variety of other things, but also in the latter part of her career, she turned her attentions to reconstructing the environments of early hominids in East Africa. She also has a long history of service to SCPM, including editor of JSR. She's a recipient of numerous awards over the years, including the U.S. Navy's Antarctic Service Medal, the AWG's Outstanding Educator Award,
Was president of SAP.
the PNAS Cosarelli Prize, and GSA's Lawrence Sloss Award. I'd just like to make a personal comment, as Gail was very kind to me as a somewhat of a mentor earlier in my career, and gave me some advice that I've used over the years hopefully quite well as it was intended. But she also was a mentor to me as a early career associate editor for JSR. And she nominated me for a GSA fellow in the 1990s. And I just always really appreciated her inspiration and leadership. Gail was nominated for the Pettyjohn Medal by ex-SCPM President Lynn Sorgan, who also provided the citation, which I will now read. For her tireless, rigorous, and enduring contributions to analysis and interpretation of sedimentary systems, ranging from glacial to shallow marine to wetlands, her groundbreaking research informing the interconnectedness of human evolution and environments, and for serving as an inspiring maverick for current and future generations of geoscientists. Dr. Gail Ashley embodies excellence in sedimentology. I couldn't agree more. And now I'm going to switch to Gail, who is here, and we'll make a few comments.
I think she's on.
I'm on.
Okay.
There we go.
Bye,
Thank
Gail.
you, Mike. Thanks a lot. It's very, very nice and very heartfelt. Thank you to that. I really feel truly honored to receive this recognition from the sedimentological community. Sedimentology has been the mainstay of my life. It's been the common thread linking my teaching and research and over the years. I was very fortunate to grow up next door to Marshall Schock, a professor at Smith College. He gave me my first book on geology when I was 14. And Marshall worked on Arctic beaches in Point Barrow, Alaska. He was a geomorphologist of sorts. And I was captivated by his stories and I was amazed that this was actually considered work. And it could be a career choice, especially for a girl in the 1950s. Although my first interest was in geomorphology, I quickly learned that sedimentology was key to understanding the origin of most landforms and understanding our surface processes in general. So when I began graduate school, there were essentially no female science role models. But I was fortunate to have many supportive male colleagues. The late Bob Gilbert, the late John Boothroyd, the late John Shaw, as well as Mike Church, John Southard, Norm Smith, and Tom Hamilton, to name just a few, who gave me encouragement and built my confidence and taught me by example the importance of good field observations and meticulous collection of data. I've also been lucky to have work with really smart students. I had 39, luckily, of my own advisees and a number that I've adopted, sort of, and numerous undergraduates. And their curiosity and energy have kept me young. I'm proud that nearly all have gone on to make their own careers as geologists, for government, for NGOs, oil companies, environmental companies, as well as professors with their own students that they're now mentoring. And I'd love to mention them all by name, but I've got only 5 minutes, as Mike keeps pointing out. So I thank them very much. I've been lucky to be able to do field work in remote areas. I've been lucky to be terrified by calving glacier and witness the magic of a dust devil. I've been able to see the sunset over the Serengeti and not set over the Brooks Range in Alaska. Sedimentology has been the cornerstone of my recent passions, studying modern and ancient groundwater springs and wetlands and the origins of environments of early hominins. But I'm not done exploring yet. At the instigation of my husband, Jerry Delaney, I've started to look at sedimentology on critical zones on the rocky planets. My work has been all field-based, and I think that as a female awardee that it would have pleased Francis J. Pettyjohn. One of his favorite sayings was that only outcrops keep geologists honest. The discipline of sedimentology, though, has changed, and some of our former awardees have mentioned this, that the field has changed a lot since Pettyjohn's day. Technology has been a game changer, technology in the field, technology in the lab. But in spite of the preponderance of dazzling widgets and black boxes, as in Pettyjohn's day, fieldwork is still crucial to good science. My research would not have been possible without male colleagues like Robin Renaud, Steve Dreese, Dan Diocampo, Clay McGill, Mark Cuthbert, Bernie Owen, and Willie Warren, and women colleagues, Carol DeVette, Michelle Goldman, Doris Barboni, and Vicki Hover. I particularly want to thank Lynn Sorgan, who spearheaded my nomination for this award. I want to thank the SCPM Selection Committee and all of you who have wrote letters. The honor comes at a perfect time to ease my challenging transition from academia to retirement. It has not been easy. While it seems odd to receive a medal for doing something I have loved doing. Thanks again to SCPM. Thank you.
Well, Gail, congratulations, and it's been a very big thing for me to see you get this award, much deserved, and thank you for all your help over the years as well.
Yeah.
Good luck in your transition to retirement. Probably means a lot more productivity as well, so we'll all look forward to that.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, the last award is the Twenhoefel Medal, our most senior award. It's a true career award. I would regard the Pettyjohn as a career award as well. The William E. Twenhoefel Medal for a Career of Outstanding Contributions in Sedimentary Geology this year goes to Philip Allen. He's Professor Emeritus at Imperial College of the University of London, although Phil has served as a faculty member of a number of other prestigious universities over the years, including Oxford and ETH. Phil received his PhD from Cambridge, where he studied with Peter Friend, who many will know as one of the giants of sedimentology as well. He did postdoctoral research in Bern, where he began his research on foreland basins. Since then, he has continued to advance links between tectonics, basin dynamics, and sedimentation through a very long and distinguished career. He is, in his last few years as an active researcher, he really made some outstanding major contributions to what is a current hot topic, and that's sediment routing systems or source to sink analysis. Over the course of his career, it is fair to say he has conducted research and pushed the frontiers on a number of the big topics within the sedimentary geosciences, and he has produced a body of work that is both widely cited and impactful, and most deserving of our highest Society of Award. Philip could not attend the meeting today. Sanjeev Gupta, his colleague at Imperial College, served as his biographer, and I will read the citation, and then I will read the letter of acceptance from Philip. The citation is in recognition for his seminal and enduring contributions to sedimentary basin analysis and the quantitative investigation of links between Earth's surface processes and the preserved sedimentary archive. An inspiring educator, mentor, and colleague who has, through his erudition and clarity of writing, influenced generations of students and professionals in sedimentary geology. So Philip Allen. His acceptance was sent in, and I'll just go ahead and read that, to the officers and members of SCPM and participants in the virtual awards ceremony webinar. It is a great honor to receive the Twenhoefel Medal. I regret that ill health prevents me from taking part in person in the video ceremony. I wish to assure you, however, of how very grateful I am for the award, partly as recognition for a career spent in sedimentology and sedimentary geology, and partly as a testament to the very many researchers, students, and colleagues with whom I have had the pleasure of interacting over the years. I find it especially rewarding to be associated with the award of a medal from a society that has been so preeminent in furthering the understanding of sediments and sedimentary rocks for almost a century. William Twenhoefel was a broad-thinking earth scientist who started as a paleontologist, but who later moved into the study of paleoenvironments and sedimentation. He is perhaps best known for his monumental book, Treatise on Sedimentation, first published in 1926. I admire the way that Twenhoefel was unafraid of leaving comfort zones behind and striking out into new territory. I admire his close, good-humored engagement with colleagues and with those he inspired through his teaching. And I admire his dedication to the writing of highly influential books that captured his evolving geological philosophy for posterity. I thoroughly enjoyed a career that saw me work in several outstanding universities, learning far more from my new colleagues and students than I gave back in return. I have found sedimentary geology to be a tremendously captivating subject to study, and one that invited diverse approaches and cross-disciplinarity. Coping with illness has dominated the last decade or so, and I'm currently in palliative care. Yet what memories I have, how rewarding it has all been, and how affirming it is to be awarded the Twenhoefel Medal from this great society. So ladies and gentlemen, William Twenhoefel Medal to Philip Allen for a career of outstanding contributions in sedimentary geology. How deserving he is. That wraps up our ceremony tonight, and I'd just like to thank everyone for attending and honoring this great group of SCPM awardees. Please stay safe, and we all hope to see you in person in Flagstaff for the SCPM Research Conference. With any luck, we'll be there in person, but if not, I'm sure that we'll be there virtually. So thank you all for attending, and be safe. Thank you.